The iPhone 15 Pro is, in my opinion, the most balanced and practical iPhone model among the recent releases. Its strengths are reflected both internally and externally, and across various aspects of its hardware and software. However, it does have a notable shortcoming that affects the daily user experience. Including the usage of the larger screen Pro Max, I have been using this iPhone 15 Pro for over 200 days. In this video, I want to discuss my long-term usage experience. I have the blue titanium 512GB version. I chose 512GB because I really need a lot of storage space, but I would recommend that most users go with 256GB, which is enough. I chose blue simply because I like it, but in reality, blue might be the least popular among the color options. One significant reason is that the blue model is more prone to oxidation and chipping. However, in my own experience, I haven't encountered this issue. Also, I really think this deep blue is quite nice looking. It appears stable, yet still has a touch of class. In terms of appearance and feel, at first glance, this generation of iPhone 15 Pro doesn't seem much different from the previous generation. But once you actually hold it, you'll notice quite a few improvements. Firstly, the use of a titanium frame makes it noticeably lighter. Holding it, you don't get that heavy feeling like with the previous generation, making it much more comfortable to use for extended periods when browsing or gaming.
Too sophisticated.
It does not feel as premium as the stainless steel of the previous generation, but I personally find it more comfortable to hold and touch. From the front, the iPhone 15 Pro's bezels are noticeably narrower than the previous generation, leading to a higher screen-to-body ratio and naturally higher aesthetics. Also, because the bezels are narrower, the height and width of the whole device have slightly decreased. The action button on the titanium metal frame is something I personally like. It can perform different functions and support shortcut commands. However, I find it quite unfortunate that the action button only supports triggering a single function with a press. I believe Apple could definitely adapt and develop this button further. For example, a short press could achieve one function, and a quick double tap could trigger a second function. If pressing and holding could trigger a third function, the practicality and usage rate of the action button would be greatly enhanced. So I can only hope that Apple will add more possibilities to this button in the future. The USB-C port on the iPhone 15 Pro is something I use frequently. Unlike the standard edition iPhone 15, which only supports the USB 2 standard, the Pro variant's transfer speed is significantly faster. The USB-C port on the 15 Pro and Pro Max models supports USB 3, with a maximum transfer speed of 10 GB per second. This brings two advantages. First, the iPhone 15 Pro can quickly transfer data to and from other devices. Compared to the previous Lightning port, the speed at which you can move seldom used data from the iPhone 15 Pro to an external hard drive has greatly improved. Second, it supports external solid-state drives, allowing ProRes or ProLog format videos to be directly stored on an external hard drive. Speaking of imaging, my assessment of the iPhone 15 Pro is that it may not be stunning, but it's certainly practical and balanced. When it comes to photography, compared to many Android flagships, the iPhone flagship can only be described as decent. But in terms of video recording, the iPhone 15 Pro remains top tier. The combination of the three cameras covers a variety of shooting scenarios quite well. Additionally, the 3x telephoto lens on the iPhone 15 Pro is more practical compared to the 5x telephoto on the Pro Max. It's more balanced too. I have done a detailed comparison in a previous video.
Either the 15 Pro or Chrome
If you're
X5.
interested in the differences between the telephoto lenses, feel free to check out my other video where I go into detail. I'll skip it here. When it comes to performance, I think there's not much to say because this is currently the best chip in the mobile phone platform, bar none. In daily use, you can describe it as extremely smooth. For online games like Arena of Valor, which do not demand much performance, of course, there's no pressure at all. Even for native games that require more graphical performance, the A17 Pro can handle them with ease. After all, if the iPhone 15 Pro struggles, other phones have it even tougher. Of course, the biggest advantage of the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max in gaming is that they support some AAA large-scale games. That is, those games that could only be played on PC and console before. As for the gaming experience, you could say it's playable, but when compared to the M2 and M4 chip iPad Pro, in terms of graphics quality, smoothness and heat management, the iPhone 15 Pro still falls short by quite a bit. Although the iPhone 15 Pro performs well overall and is quite balanced and practical, there is one drawback that affects my daily use, and that's the battery life. Initially, I used the large-screen iPhone 15 Pro Max and then switched to the smaller iPhone 15 Pro for better handling and portability. However, there are pros and cons. The gap in battery life between the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max is greater than I originally expected. With the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you rarely encounter battery issues, but the iPhone 15 Pro falls short in this regard.
Especially after
Once
a
while
few
traveling,
times.
the battery of the iPhone 15 Pro was insufficient for taking photos during the trip, and I often needed to carry a power bank. So if we are just considering battery life, switching from the larger Pro Max to the smaller Pro, I regret it. But since I do not need to be out for extended periods every day, the difference in battery life is not entirely unacceptable. Plus, the iPhone 15 Pro has a more practical 3-camera lens combination than the Pro Max. Easy to hold and carry, top-notch performance, practical and easy to use with good balance. Except for not having the best battery life, this iPhone 15 Pro is not perfect, but I will keep using it until the iPhone 16 series arrives. Honestly, it's also my favorite model among the recent iPhones. Alright, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to your comments, likes, and follows. They are great support and encouragement for me. I'm Lao Xing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.